I really hate when my eye does this. It's probably gonna look dorky in this video. Makes me look like I don't know what I'm doing with my makeup. People calling in complaining about their bills. Listen, if you don't want a high bill, turn the thermostat down.
Hey designers, and welcome back. I have a super fun tag video for you guys today, and if you want to get to know me a little bit better, just stay tuned. Well, welcome back everybody, or welcome to those of you who may be here for the very first time. Hope you see something here that you like and hope you will consider subscribing and staying around for a while. Today I have been tagged in the I'm interesting tag. I'm interesting. Kind of makes me giggle when I say that because I don't typically find myself very interesting. Nonetheless, I was tagged by Ninju over at Ninja Does Crafts to participate in this tag and tell you guys a little bit more about me. So I'm gonna try to attempt to do that today. This was pretty difficult for me, Ninja. I have to be quite honest with you. It was hard coming up with 5 things that I think you guys might find interesting. Not even sure. Everybody has a different definition of that word. Let's just be honest. I believe in Ninja's video, she listed 5 things, so that's what I'm gonna do as well. I'll have her video linked for you down below. You guys be sure to go over and check her out. It was very fun getting to know a little bit more about her, and I'm sure you guys will find it interesting as well. I do already have a 20 facts about me video that I'm gonna have posted for you down below as well, because I go into a little bit more detail over there. There were 20 things to talk about, and so it was hard coming up with 5 more. It was hard coming up with those 5, to be quite honest with you, but at any rate, here we go. Hopefully you'll find these interesting and hopefully you'll like getting to know me a little bit better. Number 1, we'll go ahead and start with my name. I noticed that Ninja started there, and I'm gonna guess probably that's the way the tag is supposed to go. Not real sure, but we'll talk about my name a little bit. Like Ninja, I was supposed to be a boy. When my mom was pregnant with me, they were very excited and very hopeful to have a boy. Well, obviously, when I was born, I did not come out a boy, so that kind of threw him for a little bit of a loop, and Mom thought, wow, what am I going to do about a name? Because up till then, she had planned to name me after my dad, which is a very Southern tradition. You have to have a junior if you're in the South. So I was supposed to be Ronnie Jr. Well, that obviously couldn't happen because I came out a girl. So Mom thought, what am I gonna do? Is there a form of Ronnie that I could put on her as a girl? And she thought about Rhonda. So that was gonna be my name. But she said the more that she looked at me and held me and just Rhonda wasn't sitting well with her. It just didn't seem to fit. So actually for quite a while there in the hospital, I didn't even have a name. Hopefully they were calling me by a nickname. I'm not real sure. I had no identity there for a while. But while Mom was in the hospital after having me, before they discharged her to go home, she was watching an old game show. I don't remember which one it was, but there was a contestant that came on the game show with the name Dina, and she thought it was so unique and unusual. It definitely was not a very common name, and still really to this day isn't an extremely common name. Once in a while I'll hear someone else named Dina, but it's very rare, and it's even more rare that they spell it the way my mom spells mine. But at any rate, she heard the contestant's name, thought it was so pretty and unique, and she thought, wow, that fits my little girl perfectly. So that's how I got my name, off of a game show on TV. Here's an interesting fact about me, my leaky eye. Can you guys see it? It's leaking like crazy today, so just ignore it and don't let it distract you, and we'll move on. Interesting fact number 2, I was actually a preemie. I was born a whole month early, should have been born in late September, but I came in late August, weighing only, I think I was 5 pounds 1 ounce, or I might have been, yeah, I think it was 5 pounds 1 ounce, and I had to gain up I want to say it was like 5.5 pounds before they would let me go home. I can't remember now exactly what I had to weigh to be able to go home, but Mom said that I was a good eater. Still am. Are you surprised? And I gained my weight in a very short period of time. I wasn't in the hospital very long at all before I had gained up what I needed to gain up, and then I maintained it. You know, a lot of babies, whenever they are first born, they will drop some ounces, and I did not do that. So that was good news for Mom and Dad. They didn't have to stay there very long, but that was the only time in my life that I've probably been early. And definitely the only time in my life I've ever been that small. Interesting fact number 3 is my independence and strong-willed nature. Now that probably doesn't come as a shock to most of you guys, but I've just always been this way. I think I might have told this story before. I can't remember, and if it's in the 20 facts about me, then you guys just forgive me. I'll have to repeat it. But I can remember being as young as 3. Well, I don't actually remember. I just remember hearing the stories because my parents tell this story, that at 3 years old, between 3 and 5, I wanted to go to the store one day. We lived in a neighborhood where there was just a little mom and pop convenience store that was located like at the entrance to our little community, and it wasn't very far at all, maybe half a mile if I remember right, because I've been back to the neighborhood since I've gotten older and just kind of drove around and looked at everything, because I can remember some things from being there whenever I was little. But you know, when you grow up, you just want to revisit sometimes the past and where you came from. So it wasn't very far at all, but it was far enough and located enough that obviously my parents wouldn't have been able to see me all the way from our house to the store. But I was determined, they said, to get to that store by myself, so they let me go. Little did I know, they jumped in the car behind me and was following along behind me the whole way to make sure that nothing would happen to me. But in my little mind, I had done it all by myself and was so proud because I was so independent and strong. And I guess that nature has just kind of always stuck with me. Another interesting fact about me that most of you probably will not be surprised with at all is that at almost every job I've worked at, I have gotten in trouble and gotten called into the boss's office because of my mouth. That's right. Do you know that sometimes your greatest gift can also be your biggest disaster? And that is absolutely true in my case. I have always had trouble with running off at the mouth. Always. I'm very strong-willed, very opinionated. Most of you have probably been able to detect that if you watch Coco and Cookies at all. And I am not afraid to say what I'm thinking. I don't worry about being politically correct. I don't, or haven't in the past. I've gotten much better now that I'm older. I haven't always been worried about being very tactful either, because it bothered me that I hurt your feelings, and the fact that it never was really my intention to set out and just be rude or hurt people's feelings. But it didn't bother me in the fact that if it was truth and needed to be said, I really didn't care if it hurt your feelings at all, because in my estimation, when you hear truth, it helps you become better. So if that offends you, then it does. You know the old adage, the truth hurts. So, but yes, at almost every job that I have worked at, oh my goodness, you guys are going to have to forgive my eye. Wow, don't know what's happening here. But anyway, at almost every job, I've gotten called into the boss's office because either I offended a coworker with something I said, because I had been just a little too abruptly rude with the customers, which nowadays, I wish they'd kind of implement that rule again. I go shopping in most places and people are very rude, but that happened to me when I worked at the power company. I just had it. People calling in complaining about their bills. Listen, if you don't want a high bill, turn the thermostat down. And that's what I would tell them, and that got me in big trouble. So anyway, yeah, that's I don't know if that's very interesting or not, but at almost every job, I don't even know. I didn't get called into the boss's office when I worked at Pick and Save. That's a little store kind of like Walmart. They're out of business now. And I didn't get called into the office when I worked at the orthodontist office, And I think that's the only two places that I didn't get called in. I got called into the office at the bank. I got called into the office at Clay Electric. I got called into the office at the daycare. Notice the theme. Moving on into number 5, I think probably an interesting fact about me, or an interesting thing of my life, is all the number of times that I probably should have been killed and I'm still here. I can remember the first time, well, I mean, I don't remember, but I remember the stories. I say that as though I can remember whenever I was 18 months old. Can't do it. I was very small, 18 months old, right around 2, somewhere in there between that little 6-month period. And I was riding in a vehicle with my uncle, and I've told you guys this story before. I fell out of it was an old Volkswagen van, if you guys remember those, because yes, I am that old. But anyway, I was riding on one side of the vehicle and he was on the other side with his girlfriend trying to share one little bucket seat, and I fell out of that vehicle and landed on a rock, cut my face, and that's why you still see the scar even to this day. Then there was another time whenever I was about 5, I drove a lawnmower up a fence and the lawnmower flipped over backwards, and somehow I came out of that one okay. There have been an occasion I have been in 2 automobile accidents. One of them was really bad. I was hit from behind by a big semi truck, and whenever he plowed in the back of me, it threw me into the car in front of me, and I was in a little teeny geostorm. I don't know if you guys remember those, but they were very, very small, and really the way that that big old semi came at me from behind, it should have sandwiched me in, and I should have really been hurt, walked away without even a scratch on me. And a couple of other times that I have been involved in some accidents that probably I really shouldn't even be here. I can remember one time, even when the kids were little, we were driving to our church that morning for a VBS, and this car came right over the center lane and was headed at me right head on. And fortunately, by the grace of God, I was able to swerve right there at the very last minute, and that car missed me. So I definitely believe that because of the call on my life and the things that God allows me to do for the kingdom, that I've kind of been target number 1. Well, maybe not number 1. That's a little exaggeration, but I have been a target for the enemy, and I think that there were a couple of times that he tried to take me on out of this world, but thankfully the good Lord was with me and I made it through. So that's kind of interesting. Anyway, I think that's about all that I could come up with, Ninj. There are 20 other facts about me you guys can go back and take a look at, and I do have a few Q&As where people ask me some pretty in-depth questions. We had a good time answering all of those, so there are some more informative things out there. I'll try to have all those videos linked for you down below so that you guys can go and take a look. But this was pretty fun, Ninj. It made me stop and think. I had to go back over my life and reevaluate and try to think, is there anything interesting about me? I've lived kind of a pretty normal, boring life. But thank you very much for tagging me, and I guess now it's my turn to tag a few people. I saw on your video where you tagged several people that I typically would tag. So let me go ahead and see if I can think of a few people to tag. I'm gonna go ahead and tag Lee over at Keeping It Real. Lee, I'd like to hear some more about you and get to know you a little bit better. I definitely want to tag Daisycutter. I know you haven't uploaded videos for a little while, and I know you don't really like being in front of the camera, but you could do it in some kind of way where we could hear some more things about you. I'd love to hear more about you. I will tag Victoria at Victoria Creations. I've enjoyed reading some of your comments lately and how much you support the channel, and I'd love to know more about you, so I'm gonna tag you. So that's the 3 that I'm gonna tag. You guys hop on over, check them out, go ahead and subscribe to their channel so you'll be ready when their videos go up. Again, Ninj, I want to thank you so much for tagging me. You guys go and check out her video. The I'm Interesting tag was the title. I'll have that link for you down below as well. Hope you guys have enjoyed this little impromptu get to know me a little bit better. And if you guys make videos and you decide to do this on your channel, definitely comment down below so that I can come and take a look. I want to thank you so very much for joining me today. I will see you soon in the next video.